Buckle up, everyone, because today we are taking a deep dive into a story that has really been making the rounds.
Oh, yeah. This is a juicy one.
So we're talking about Republican Representative Paulina Luna and a little anecdote from a brand new book all about Donald Trump.
A book that I'm sure is going to be full of all sorts of interesting little stories.
Absolutely. So the book is called Revenge, the inside story of Trump's return to power.
Okay.
And we're looking at excerpts from an article all about it,
Right.
written by the journalist Alex Eisenstadt.
I see.
So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this story and understand how everybody involved is interpreting things and see what other details we can unearth in the process.
Sounds like fun.
Let's do it. So the story revolves around an interaction between Trump and Luna while she was pregnant during a flight on his private jet in the summer of 2023.
Okay.
Now, the book alleges that Trump offered Luna his bed.
His bed.
His bed to lie down in since she wasn't feeling well.
Oh, okay.
With the caveat, just don't tell Melania.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, whether he was joking or not, who knows?
Right.
But it certainly makes for an interesting story.
It does.
So Luna did not stay quiet about this.
Oh, I bet not.
She took to X, formerly Twitter,
Right.
to call the book a, quote, hit piece.
Uh-huh.
But it is interesting to note that she kind of went after the source itself rather than actually addressing the claim head on.
Yeah, that feels very familiar.
Yeah, that's a classic politician move, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
So the thing is, she does confirm that Trump offered her his bed to lie down in.
Okay.
Her spin on it, though, is that it was an act of compassion and respect.
Compassion and respect.
And she emphasizes that this happened in front of her husband.
Interesting.
And that there was a medical team on board that was aware of her pregnancy.
So she's really trying to frame this in a certain light.
She is. And now things do get a little more complicated.
Okay.
Because Luna later revealed she was actually experiencing pre-eclampsia symptoms during that same flight and ended up being induced just a few weeks later.
Okay.
So now, knowing this context, could this mean that she was already feeling unwell on that plane?
Right.
Which then kind of makes Trump's offer, even if it was a little out there, maybe seem a little bit more believable.
Yeah, it does add a layer of, well, maybe this wasn't so strange after all.
Right. And this kind of leads to some questions about the timeline of everything.
Yeah.
Because there was an interview she did with Time Magazine back in May of 2023, where she talks about her pregnancy in a very lighthearted way.
Okay.
Only mentioning the possibility of maybe having a panic attack during the August recess.
I see.
So is it possible that maybe she just downplayed the preeclampsia symptoms initially?
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, that could have been for personal reasons.
Right, for privacy.
Where a lot of women choose to do that, especially in the early stages.
Exactly. And so this just makes the timeline of events even more murky. Now, we also can't ignore the fact that Luna criticized the author Alex Eisenstadt for not reaching out to her for a comment before publishing the book.
Right.
I'm sure she was not happy about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is a fairly common critique, particularly when it comes to unauthorized biographies of high-profile figures.
Right.
It really highlights the tension that can exist between journalistic freedom and the potential impact that a story can have on the people involved.
Absolutely. So where does this leave us?
Well, it seems like we've got ourselves a potentially controversial anecdote, some conflicting interpretations of what really happened, and some questions about Luna's pregnancy and how it all played out.
Absolutely.
But you know what I think this whole story really gives us is a glimpse behind the curtain of the power dynamics that exist in Washington.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. How many other stories are out there just like this one that are shaping our political landscape that we don't even know about?
That's fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what else is going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
That we're not privy to.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us for this deep dive into this very complicated and interesting story.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.